been talking about freedom of speech. There's been lots of messages and criticism coming in on how content creators in the country are being criticized after the Kunal Kamra controversy exploded. Now, let me take you through what's happened in Tamil Nadu today. We're looking at a similar case, a content creator, a YouTuber who's known as a fierce critique of the DMK regime, Savukku Shankar, also known as Achimuthu Shankar, has found himself at the receiving end of a violent mob. And the way it unfolded raises disturbing questions about law and order in the state of Tamil Nadu. A man who creates content was attacked, and an organized attack that was carried out. Group of men disguised as sanitary workers stormed into Shankar's home, unleashed chaos, vandalized his home. They flung garbage all across his premises. In fact, we hear they poured sewage. That's the image there on our screens there. Pouring sewage mixed with human waste inside his house. The family suspects that this attack is linked to an exposé that he had done through one of his YouTube videos on sanitation vehicle procurement irregularities within the Tamil Nadu government.
The scam I broke around 2 months back. After I broke this scam, the Chennai City Police registered an FIR that I have denigrated the scavenging community people by calling them drunkards. And I was arrested. When I was produced before the magistrate rejected the demand, saying that there is nothing denigrating the scheduled caste people or scavenger community people, and there is no element of offense to prove that I have instigated violence between two group of people. After they failed in their effort to book me for exposing this scam, they have adopted this method. I directly charge Mr. TNCC President Mr. Selva Perundakai as the person who has organized this attack, because one Ms. Vanishri Vijay Kumar did a Facebook live. She came in a procession calling the so-called scavenger people, and she did even the attack inside my house was also telecast live in Facebook. If you visit the Facebook profile of Ms. Vanishri Vijay Kumar, she has displayed Mr. Selva Perundakai's picture, and she has posted many writings that Mr. Selva Perundakai is her godfather and protector. So, except Mr. Selva Perundakai, no one else has any motive to conduct this sort of attack against me.
Well, it was his 68-year-old mother, Kamala, who in fact filed a formal police complaint. She narrated her ordeal. In her allegations, she recounts how people barged into a home at 9:45 a.m. on March 24th, aggressively knocking at the front door. She refused to open. Then they got around the back door, broke into the entrance and began assaulting her verbally and physically. She claims that the mob warned her. This time is the last time. We'll stop here. But next time, we'll set your house on fire. That's the warning issued to a popular YouTuber who's known to be a critique of the DMK government. Now, who's behind this? The crime branch, CID of Tamil Nadu, is now probing this matter. In fact, the DMK government themselves has condemned it. But will they provide security for a man like him? An attack that was taken place in an organized manner. Serious cognizance should be taken. A probe report should be out by now. Who's responsible? Has there been any arrests? None of that has come about yet. Now, beyond this investigation clearly lies a far more unsettling concern. Where does this leave freedom of speech for content creators, especially those who are criticizing those in power? Savukku Shankar has been a relentless critique of the DMK government. So, was this just mob fury here that we see, or something more? Could such a brazen and organized attack have taken place without any tacit support of the ruling dispensation? We'll track this story.
Somebody will give money, he will speak. Okay, I don't bother. Okay, he will face the legally. How can I send? Tell me. It is not my duty. If anybody will touch, they will react. So yesterday I told the press I am condemning. Anybody do violence, we are not accept. We are against violence.
All right, coming back to Kunal Kamra. The man has come back with a lot of guts and grudge. So Kunal Kamra remains unapologetic. He's now straight up said he's not going to apologize. And amid this uproar here, he's come out with another satirical parody here, where he takes on the regime yet again. instead of backing down, he releases this parody video where he mocks his own episode, the controversy that spanned out in 24 hours, the vandalism that took place at Mumbai's Habitat Comedy Club where he performed. He takes up this issue and makes another parody using his own case as a classic example. Now, Kunal Kamra refuses to apologize in a strongly written note that he put up on his own X platform. He said, and I'm going to take you through some of what he said, to the mob. He addresses the mob, mocking the attack, saying it's like overturning a tomato lorry after bad butter chicken. Basically, you don't like butter chicken, so you push down a lorry carrying tomato. Senseless. Then a message he gives to political parties, saying freedom of speech isn't just for praising the powerful. He asks, will those who vandalized Habitat venue face action? And a message he gave to the BMC, the civic body in Mumbai, who's now begun demolishing illegal parts of the venue after they realized, post this vandalism, that there was illegal construction that happened there. So he joked, saying that the next time he carries out a gig, he will do that on the crumbling Elphinstone Bridge. So that, insinuating and poking at the BMC that they come quicker to demolish that. And finally, to trolls, Kunal Kamra says, keep calling me. You'll just hear the same song that you hate the most on loop. He says this because his phone number has now been leaked. He claims that he's received several calls from people and he has now directed them to voicemail, which goes back to the same song that's now the most controversial. Kunal Kamra says that he will cooperate with the investigation. Mumbai's Khar police has summoned him, but he's asked another week's time. Remember, the controversy began with the first parody where he sang a song on the lines of Dil To Pagal Hai against Eknath Shinde without taking his name. It was very clear that he was hinting at Eknath Shinde splitting from Uddhav Thackeray. So what followed was intense vandalism, legal threats, and his number getting leaked, several FIRs. In fact, Shiv Sena MLA has also asked him to apologize and given a warning of 24 hours. If not, if that apology does not come, then they're going to take legal action against him. Now, what kind of legal action will be taken? We've got to wait and watch. Kunal Kamra says he's going to fight it out legally. He says, just because netas do not like my humor and can't take a joke, that does not take away my right. Now, we see Mahavikas Aghadi, the opposition leaders, enjoying this, doubling down, reposting the same song in solidarity with Kunal Kamra.
आप जो है कॉमेडी के नाम पर उनकी इज्जत उछाल रहे हैं, उनकी अपकीर्ति कर रहे हैं, उनके काम को डिसरिगार्ड कर रहे हैं। शिंदे जी जो है वो कभी किसी जमाने में रिक्शा चलाया करते थे, आज वो अपने दम पर इतना आगे आए हैं। और ये कौन उनके खुद की क्या क्रेडेंशियल्स है, कौन हैं ये लोग जो कुछ जिंदगी में कर नहीं पाए।
देखिए, फ्रीडम ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन को कुछ लोग फ्री स्टाइल एनार्की समझते हैं, अभिव्यक्ति की स्वतंत्रता को अराजकता और उद्दंडता समझते हैं, और ऐसे लोग जो है वो जो इस तरह का जो है वो हास्य व्यंग है उसमें भी जो है वो सुपारी का तड़का लगा रहता है, दिखाई पड़ता है। और मुझे लगता है कि जिस तरह के जो है वो घटिया ढंग के हास्य व्यंग के जरिए आप जो है वो किसी पर अटैक करते हो, किसी पर जो है व्यंग करते हो, तो वो भी स्वीकार है। लेकिन जो है वो आप फ्रीडम ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन के नाम पर जो है फ्री स्टाइल एनार्की करोगे, अभिव्यक्ति की स्वतंत्रता के नाम पर अराजकता और उद्दंडता करोगे और कहोगे कि आप हम कलाकार हैं, तो आप कलाकार नहीं बल्कि कलाबाज हैं। आप
कुणाल कामरा ने जो स्टेटमेंट दिया, अजीत दादा का नाम भी वहां पे उन्होंने लिया है। अभी देखो, जब विरोधी पक्ष नेता थे देवेंद्र फडणवीस साहब, उनका स्टेटमेंट कंगना के इंक्वायरी के बारे में और उनके पे जो कार्रवाई हुई थी घर पे, वहां पे उनका अलग स्टेटमेंट था। मतलब आप सत्ता में होते हो या आपके कार्यकर्ता पे जब कार्रवाई की जाती है तो आपका स्टेटमेंट बदल जाता है। तो हमारा कहना है कि स्टेटमेंट यूनिफॉर्म होना चाहिए। अभी काबरा ने जो कहा है वो उसका विषय है, लेकिन ये जो है फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच भी मेंटेन होने की जरूरत है, ऐसे मुझे लगता है।
आदरणीय एकनाथ शिंदे जी को एक छपरी कॉमेडियन ने कुछ अभद्र टिप्पणी कर दी। मैं कहता हूँ नेता कोई भी हो, शिंदे साहब हो, मोदी साहब हो, राहुल गांधी जी हो, कोई भी हो, अगर जनता उस पर सवाल करती है तो नेता का फर्ज बनता है कि उसे सहर्ष स्वीकार करे और उसके अंदर अपनी कमियां सुधारे। लेकिन ये छपरी कॉमेडियन बोलना गलत बात होगी, कॉमेडियन है ही नहीं।
Remember, Kunal Kamra is now going to be scrutinized of his call records, his bank statements. This is exactly what Maharashtra's Home Minister has promised to do. We're, of course, tracking the story very closely. Now, let me take you through the most dramatic affair that's currently panning out in the state of Andhra Pradesh. We've always seen resort politics that's limited to assembly or parliament. Here we're looking at resort politics that's gone down to civic municipal polls. Well, let me take you through the face-off that's currently panning out in Andhra Pradesh with those images there that are telling. In fact, Jagan Mohan Reddy is taking a lot of his corporators, many of them, out of Andhra Pradesh in a desperate bid to salvage what's left. The former Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy of the YSRCP is herding corporators all out of the city to Bengaluru. Sources say 11 more corporators are to join him, some of them with their family members in tow. They've left for a resort camp in Karnataka, and that takes the total members now, with the latest, to 21. They've been moved in 2 phases. A third batch is also expected, with Mayor Hari Venkata Kumari and other key leaders to likely join in. The opposition alliance is on high alert, determined to prevent any, in fact, they don't want any of their corporators to be poached. So they're doing all that they can. TDP District President Gandhi Banji hits out at the ruling party here as he basically criticizes the YSRCP, saying if YSRCP is confident about its numbers, then why should they run away or take away their camp members? Basically, he's added that TDP, the ruling, doesn't believe in threats or political tourism. They're going to stay and fight. So this is the latest development, the most dramatic. You see YSRCP, Jagan Mohan Reddy moving away his corporators of whatever little is left of his party. He had the worst debacle in the recently held state assembly polls in Andhra Pradesh. So he's trying as much as possible to keep his corporators intact and loyal to his party. So what once looked like high-stakes politics now borders on farce, resort drama, right at the municipal level as well. Right, shifting our focus to the much talked about honey trap scandal that's also rocked the Supreme Court. Pleas now being filed at the Supreme Court asking for the top court to intervene. That's how serious this is. But let me take you through. Karnataka, from watching porn in the assembly to these honey trap scandals and scandalous CDs and pen drives, Karnataka politics has really seen it all. In fact, if there's one state that could be called the undisputed capital of political sex scandals, hands down, that's Karnataka. Latest in the controversy, Corporation Minister K.N. Rajanna has dropped a bombshell in the Karnataka Assembly, claiming that he was the target of a honey trap by a gang that very strategically trapped him and 47 others across party lines, both the BJP, the Congress, and maybe even within the JDS. That's what he says. He's called the state a factory of CDs and pen drives. Now, the revelation rocked the legislature, leading to a heated debate in the assembly, in Karnataka Assembly. Eventually, 18 BJP MLAs were also suspended because it was not just on the honey trap scandal. There was lots of other allegations on the 4% Muslim quota bill that was approved, and all that culminated into 18 of BJP MLAs being sent out for 6 months from the assembly. But nonetheless, I say this to draw your attention back to the root of that suspension. It was the honey trap scandal. The shocking truth here, sex scandals in Karnataka's politics aren't new. They've been making headlines for over 50 years. Let's take you through some of the biggest of them, so you have an idea what I'm speaking of here and the kind and the number of ministers who've been unfortunately tarnished due to it. It began in 1973, where Congress Minister R.D. Kittur resigned over allegations of sheltering a missing woman, marking the first known case of a minister stepping down over impropriety. And then in 2007, BJP MLA Renukacharya, BJP MLA and MP eventually, was accused of harassment by a nurse, backed by a photographic evidence. He still made a political comeback though. Then in 2010, former BJP Minister Hartal Halappa resigned after being accused of sexual assault by a friend's wife. He was later acquitted, but career took a big hit. 2012, the Porngate scandal that shocked the nation. 3 BJP ministers were caught watching adult content inside Karnataka Assembly. They resigned but later returned to politics. 2013, BJP MLA Raghupati Bhatt was forced into temporary exile after a sleazy CD surfaced before the elections. Again, he took a political beating. 2015, former BJP minister S.A. Ramdas was accused of seeking sexual favors and allegedly attempted suicide when the case came to light. 2016, H.Y. Meti, a minister in the Congress government, resigned after a video of him allegedly demanding sexual favors for a job went viral. And then 2021, BJP MLA and former minister, well-known Ramesh Jarkioli, had to step down after a leaked video showing him allegedly seeking sexual favors in exchange for a government job surfaced. And then comes the infamous Revanna family scandal. You had H.D. Revanna's son, former Prime Minister H.D. Devi Gowda, who was accused of sexually harassing a domestic help for 3 years. But the bigger shocker here is that his son, former MP Prajwal Revanna, faced multiple sexual assault allegations with several women coming forward against him. So this was not a honey trap. This was him being accused. But the crux of it all here is to show you that Karnataka is not new to such sex scandals, and it seems to be worrying their ministers immensely that they are now knocking at the doors of the Supreme Court, calling this an organized crime, saying that this is a bid to tarnish the political clan there.
Today, I observed that there is a PIL filed in the Supreme Court or maybe in the High Court. But regarding that one, in that PIL petition, I came to know some allegations are made by me against the judges. That is untrue. I made allegations only the politicians of all parties, who are all very prominent. So those prominent leaders are targeted by their own parties to defame them. That is my contention. It is not against any bureaucrats or any judicial officers.
All right, let me quickly take you through the Ranya Rao gold smuggling scandal. We hear her bail plea has now been reserved. To take you through a quick update on that case, Bengaluru Special Court has reserved its order on Kannada actress Harshvardhani Ranya Rao. Her bail plea has been reserved until March 27th. During arguments, Ranya's lawyer has pushed for her release, but the DRI's counsel presented evidence linking her to illegal fund transfers. The prosecution claims she admitted to using Hawala channels to purchase gold, strengthening the case against her. In fact, she claims, the DRI claims that she has admitted to DRI that she's used Hawala money to bring gold from Dubai. Now, authorities have invoked Section 108 of the Customs Act, making this a judicial inquiry, not a police investigation, focusing on financial irregularities. Gold bars worth 12.5 crores were seized from Ranya Rao at the Bengaluru Kempegowda International Airport when she just landed from Dubai. A follow-up raid at her home eventually recovered 2 crores in gold, jewelry and cash. Adding to the controversy now, her stepfather, DGP rank officer Ramachandra Rao, was sent on compulsory leave and questioned in connection with the case. We hear he has admitted that he did give her some help with basic protocols, a VIP car to begin with. So he's admitted that, while he claims he has nothing to do with this smuggling scandal and wasn't aware of it. Now, a major standoff that's brewing in the Allahabad High Court. The Bar Association there vehemently opposing the transfer of Justice Yashwant Varma to Allahabad, saying we don't want him here, we want him to stay in Delhi and face investigation. Now, this is the Bar Association that's launched an indefinite strike, strongly opposing the transfer of Justice Yashwant Varma. At the heart of the controversy is that cash recovery at Justice Varma's official residence after a fire broke out on March 14th. Lawyers are now demanding a thorough investigation before any transfer takes place. Supreme Court has stepped in. The 3-member panel has been formulated in this case. The team arrived at Justice Varma's residence. The panel includes Punjab and Haryana High Court Chief Justice Sheel Nagu, Himachal Pradesh High Court Chief Justice G.S. Sandhavalia and Karnataka High Court Justice Anu Sivaram. The High Court Collegium, led by Chief Justice of India Sanjeev Khanna and 4 senior-most judges, reviewed Justice Varma's transfer. The Collegium has clarified that this transfer is not linked to the cash recovery probe, but the timing of the decision has only fueled speculation. On the ground, the Allahabad High Court, the Bar Association is in no mood to back down, leading protests at gate number 3. Bar Association President Anil Tiwari has made it clear this fight is not against any individual judge, but against corruption and a lack of transparency in the system. So those are the visuals there that I'm pointing out very specifically. If we could play, yeah, there you have it. That's the Bar Association protest where they've all come together and condemning Justice Varma, saying we don't want him in Allahabad. So they say that he should face investigation, asking for the Chief Justice to file a formal FIR against him, and has very pertinently asked for a CBI or ED investigation in the case. So this sets an example. Now, with this intensifying strike, pressure only mounting on the judiciary, will the top court really consider the move or the pleas? That remains to be seen. Now, meanwhile, the Lok Sabha has approved an extension for the Joint Parliamentary Committee, the JPC, on One Nation, One Election. A quick look on that. The upcoming monsoon session will have that meeting. JPC Chairperson PP Chaudhary has sought more time to review the Constitution Amendment Bill on simultaneous polls. The bill proposes holding Lok Sabha and the State Assembly elections together, which will be a major electoral reform under the Indian Constitution. In fact, earlier, Chaudhary had moved a motion in the Lok Sabha seeking an extension for presenting the JPC's report on the Constitution Bill 2024 and the Union Territories Law of 2024. In fact, this extension with this that has been granted, the committee will continue its deliberations. Will this bring India a step closer to simultaneous elections? That's got to be seen. It's a big decision, and it's for the parliamentarians to finally decide who gets the numbers. We'll watch. A massive search operation that's now currently underway in Jammu and Kashmir's Katua. We're looking at the commandos who've just arrived in Katua. In fact, this is day 3 of the crackdown there in Jammu and Kashmir. Security forces led by DGP Nalin Prabhat on high alert, tracking down a group of infiltrating militants. The operation began on Sunday evening, so this is technically the 3rd day. It began in Hiranagar sector after intense encounter took place at a local nursery where militants were reportedly hiding. Security forces pushed deeper into the area this morning. A volley of gunfire rang out, but officials later clarified it was speculative firing in response to suspicious movement. And army helicopter commandos with armed forces carrying heavy weapons, sniffer dogs and drones are all in action currently there as forces try to hunt down militants who are believed to be trapped in dense terrain. According to officials, the police first received intelligence about militant presence inside a dhok, an enclosure in Sanyal village, just 5 kilometers from the international border with Pakistan. When the Special Operations Group moved in, the hiding militants opened fire, leading to a fierce gunfight. No casualties have been reported. Right, a quick look at the tense situations that's spanning out across borders in Turkey. Fiery and dense protests that have occurred on the streets of Turkey, possibly for the first time that we've seen such a thing in Istanbul. We see large-scale protests against the jailing of Istanbul's mayor, Ekrem İmamoğlu. In fact, the biggest show of defiance against President Recep Tayyip Erdogan in a decade is what we see here. Hundreds and thousands of protesters flooding the streets. And university campuses have been flooded with protests, and they're all demanding justice. They want the mayor to be released. Imagine one mayor who was taken into custody has led to the entire city of Istanbul coming down to protest. Demonstrations have remained mostly peaceful though. Last night clashes with riot police have also led to 1,000 arrests, though none of them injured, but it seems like Istanbul has never seen something like this. Protesters, many of them students, say that they are ready for a long-term struggle and they reject Erdogan's claim that their movement will soon fizzle out. Some of them have boycotted university classes as well, while academics many of the academics also supported their students, staging a one-day strike in solidarity. President Erdogan, after a cabinet meeting in Ankara, has slammed these protests as street terrorism, accusing the opposition of inciting unrest.
İstanbul merkezli bir yolsuzluk operasyonunun ardından ana muhalefet partisi genel başkanının yaptığı sokak çağrısı sonrası ortaya çıkan ve kısa sürede şiddet hareketine dönüşen olayları milletçe ibretle takip ettik. Marjinal örgütlerin ve şehir eşkıyalarının saldırıları sebebiyle 5 günde 123 güvenlik görevlimiz yaralandı.
All right, finally, we're looking at Donald Trump coming out with quite a blunder by sharing information about a potential war with Yemen on a group which had journalists on it. And it seems like White House has also acknowledged their mistake. I'm going to take you through exactly what happened with Donald Trump reacting to it as well.
Top Trump administration officials mistakenly texted war plans to a group that included a journalist, the White House said on Monday, in a misstep that has drawn swift condemnation from Democratic lawmakers. The editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, Jeffrey Goldberg, said in a report on Monday that on March 13th he was unexpectedly invited onto an encrypted group chat on Signal Messenger called the Houthi PC Small Group. Messages in the group made Goldberg aware that large-scale U.S. strikes on Yemen's Houthi rebels were coming hours before they started. The strikes over Houthi attacks against Red Sea shipping came on March 15th. Before they began, Goldberg said Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth posted operational details about the plan in the group, including, quote, information about targets, weapons the U.S. would be deploying, and attack sequencing. The chat also included accounts that appeared to represent Vice President J.D. Vance, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, and others. At one point, the person identified as Vance appeared to question whether U.S. allies in Europe, more exposed to shipping disruption in the Red Sea, deserved U.S. help. A person identified as Hegseth replied, VP, I fully share your loathing of European freeloading. It's pathetic. Trump's nominee for National Counterterrorism Center Director Joe Kent was apparently also on the signal chain, despite not yet being confirmed by the Senate. White House National Security Council spokesperson Brian Hughes said the chat appeared to be authentic and that the NSC was reviewing how a, quote, inadvertent number had been added. When asked about the Atlantic report on Monday, Hegseth denied sharing war plans in the chat and attacked Goldberg's credibility.
So you're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the hoaxes of Russia, or the fine people on both sides hoax, or suckers and losers hoax. So this is the guy that peddles in garbage. This is what he does.
Why were those details shared on Signal, and how did you learn that a journalist was privy to the targets, the types of weapons used?
I've heard I was characterized. Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
In an interview on CNN late on Monday, Goldberg responded to Hegseth's denial, saying, quote, no, that's a lie. He was texting war plans.
Mr. President, this is one of the most stunning breaches of military intelligence I have read about in a very, very long time.
Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer and other Democratic lawmakers have called the use of the Signal Group illegal and demanded an investigation.
I don't know anything about it.
Trump told reporters at the White House Monday that he was unaware of the group chat incident. The White House has given no sign so far that the breach would lead to any staffing changes.